The Trump transition team is attempting to put together a government and is strangely immersed in a sideshow over voter recount. Jill Stein, the presidential candidate of the Green Party, is trying to challenge the vote in 3 states. Hillary Clinton campaign has joined in. Trump responds with an angry Twitter storm and arguably threatens Clinton to investigate their foundation. Today, I discuss these issues with National Republican political consultant James P. Farwell, who has worked for Newt Gingrich, John Kasich, and others.
I have to say that were I in Trump's position, I would laugh at it and not build it up. By being angry about it, it seems to me that he gives more credence to it. This is obviously an effort to discredit him, and it ought to be treated as a joke as opposed to something for which there is a serious possibility of a different outcome. And if I were advising him, I would say, do like Ronald Reagan would do and laugh these people off. What I think is interesting is that the Clinton campaign is clearly behind this thing. That's how Jill Stein, who raised no money as a candidate, was able to so quickly raise this money, and that's in the face of Trump's public pronouncements that he had no interest in pursuing Hillary Clinton with the Justice Department. I think he was very gracious to her. And I'm a little surprised, really, that the Clinton campaign is doing this. It's, I think, from their point of view, poor judgment and, frankly, poor sportsmanship. If there were any tangible evidence that anybody had raised that there might be some basis for thinking that the count was wrong, that would be one thing. But nobody has even suggested there's an iota of evidence to support a different outcome in the election. Really, the country just needs to get on with its own business. We've got problems to face and to solve.
Well, I totally agree. I mean, I certainly believe that it doesn't make any sense. I mean, in light of the fact that Hillary Clinton said that the show must go on, that we should give I guess gather around the victor and try to come together as a country. Although at the same time object to those things that you should object to, I would offer. But then his behavior was just downright bizarre. I mean, it just shows how unpresidential he is, in my opinion. I mean, to all of a sudden go and say, oh well, we've had voter fraud. I mean. He opened that up again, which raises the question as to whether or not the election is valid. Well, I'm not saying it's not valid. I think he won. I think you can make the argument that in the state of Wisconsin, for an example, there were I think something like 70,000 or somewhere around 70,000 voters who were dropped off the rolls. But I don't think it would make the difference in that state or in the, certainly in the national election. But I mean, for him it just shows how unpresidential he is at this point in time, in my opinion.
Well, I think that he's reacting to the idea that his political adversaries are trying to discredit him and feels as if he's been gracious in victory. Listen, for him to say, I wish the Clintons no harm, I'm not interested in pursuing them, when the Republican Party has made a very big deal over saying she needs to be prosecuted, she needs to be investigated, and for him to say, let's put divisions behind us, was a very magnanimous statement on his part. And so I have to say I have some sympathy for his annoyance. I just would say that I think that from everybody's point of view, we ought to get past this thing and deal with the issues that we face. There are going to be a lot of different points of view, and they're not necessarily across party lines. I don't think that either of these parties is at all united internally on a whole lot of these issues. They're difficult enough, and let's not waste energy on sideshows that don't matter. This whole recount is a canard. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to sit here and jump up and down about it. It is it's just not a serious thing. It's a diversion. And I think it is an effort by Trump's opponents to try and discredit him. And of course, if you want an election and stuff at you, I just think he feels like this one is below the belt, and I think that's why you're seeing him react the way that
it does. No doubt about it. But I just think, again, I think that it's now up to him to show that he's got the status that he's able to deal with these issues, regardless as to whether or not, he feels that, he has, been betrayed by the Clintons, given, his treatment towards them. He's the president-elect, and I think the onus is now on him.